All right, welcome in. It is a Friday and a Prez-free zone today. You got to love that. We certainly look forward to it. It's the best betting show ever here on WagerTalk TV. I'm Joe Ranieri alongside the great Art DeCesar here. We got a lot to bestow upon you here today. We've got, we got some sharp bets. We've got some UFC talk. We got preseason football, Major League Baseball. Got a little something for everyone. I believe the FedEx Cup in golf is also happening as well, Art. So a little something for everyone to tickle their fancy. And T-minus what? 2.5 weeks now until week 0 of the college football season. And I'm having a hard time with that one too as well. Week 0. I can't believe we're 14 days into August already. But let's talk about how the books did last night there as the Dodgers and Edwin. How much do you think the Mets miss Edwin Diaz right now? You think they miss him at all? I don't think so here, Art. Unbelievable.
Well, the Dodgers keep finding ways to lose. The Yankees lost a squeaker, 1-0. There were 6 unders in the preseason games. Every game went under at closing lines. Obviously, if you got in on some opening lines, you won some sides as well. But hey, we've talked about it for weeks in the predictive market. Fade the Dodgers, right? How could you go lay minus 120 for them to win the NL?
Yep.
It's crazy.
So true. It's so true, Art. It's like you have to grin and bear it here. But Dodgers losing, Yankees losing. Field of Dreams last night. I got to tell you, I thought the opening was great. The game sucked, but that whole coming out of the cornfields, and then they brought in all the old timers. I mean, that was cool. The rest of it was atrocious. Because quite honestly, watching the Twins play baseball makes you sick anyway. But I thought that was pretty well done last night.
I don't disagree. Listen, I was happy I had the Phillies, so I'm never gonna be mad at a game like that. But you're right. The presentation MLB did on that was really good because usually MLB drops the ball on a lot of those things.
Yeah, it was good. Netflix. I mean, it didn't. Yeah. It all went off without a hitch. That was pretty cool. Some of the guys, and boy, La Russa looks like he died 3 years ago, and they wrote like he looked like, woo. Russa not looking good here, but it was good to see Ripken and some of the old guys there hanging out with the new guys. So we've got more Major League Baseball. Both those teams have off today, Art, which means 14 games on the slate in the MLB. Let's talk about some of the sharp bets here. What are you seeing thus far? Anything on the board?
Absolutely, they're on 3 sides. They're on the Nationals. They're on the Rockies, and they're now back on the Red Sox. They were off the Red Sox a couple of days, back on the Red Sox now.
And now they're back on the Red Sox here. Preseason football here tonight. We're going to get to anything. Have you seen? I won't get to the odd movement there, but UFC 330, I believe, also coming up. Is there any WNBA today? I don't know if there is here or not. Oh, 2 games they have as well.
Yeah, there is. And they moved on one of the games. They bet the Storm overnight at 2.5. It's now 4. So laid 2.5 at the Storm, up to 4 right now.
Up to 4 as far as that goes there. All right. Any UFC we should know about over the weekend here before the chat room goes bonkers, because apparently they love watching a bunch of terrible fighters go at it each week here. What do you think?
Yeah, I tell everyone every week in the chat, it's not that I'm not giving out UFC because I don't want to. I'm not going to ever just give out false information, but this is a card that has a number. So anytime you have, UFC 330, there's going to be some action. They're on a couple of fighters here. They're on Coway Fernandez. They took him at plus 140. He's now plus 120. And they took Vincent Luque at plus 120. He's now minus 105, or basically pick him at a lot of spots.
Interesting. Luque. Like 1,000 years old. Unbelievable that he's still in that too as well. But that's what makes it so much fun. At least you don't have to pay $99.99 for it anymore.
No.
And you're good to go. Just get your Paramount Plus, and you are ready to roll there. All right, Art. We'll talk about those 3 preseason games coming up here. We have, of course, a parlay of the day that we got to get to. A little 2-team action here. Was there anybody you circled on the board here tonight?
So normally for our parlay, obviously we try to give out today, but I'm going to give out a game tomorrow. It's a football game.
Love
So
it.
I'm going to say Browns money line is my leg of the two-team parlay.
You're going Browns. Oh, wow. That is probably not something you're going to hear very often out of Art's mouth all season long there. That is just not something that I would consider. Listen, you're going to go Browns. I'm going to go San Diego. I'm going to go with the Padres and Michael King over Cleveland and Gavin Williams. I know Gavin Williams has been very good, but the Guardians, these two teams are worlds apart offensively, and Michael King's been a lot better than people realize. So yeah, I'm going to take the plus money with the Padres here tonight. Since you're going with the Browns, it can't get any worse than that Art. So love that. Yeah. All right. Predictive market time. We talked yesterday about some of the NFL exact finishing position in the divisions. That was fun yesterday. We did have a chance last night to see three of the teams in action in this AFC South, right? Because we saw Houston last night. We got to see Indy. We saw Tennessee. I think Jacksonville, right, still coming here at some particular point. But what do you think here, AFC South? Is it just Jacksonville or Houston at the top? I mean, it feels like this market, the pricing's a little bit higher, and it centers around Jacksonville and Houston, and it looks like the market is just shifting everything else around those two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are obviously the two teams that everyone is pretty much picking. I think the more interesting thing is the bottom. Can Tennessee get out of the fourth slot?
Mm.
Can they have, gained enough with their signings, with their draft picks? Cam Ward takes another step. There are people who like Robert Saleh as a head coach. So, I mean, can they be, because I think if you're doing the exact order, most people would say, all right, this is 1, 2, 3, but everyone would start with Tennessee at 4. Can you get Tennessee out of the basement?
Right.
Are the Colts maybe the fourth team? Is it maybe, pick who you like? You go Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Indy.
Yep.
So, I think that's the more intriguing thing. I think most people would say it's Jacksonville or Houston. If you're trying to pick who your winner is there. I know Prez said he liked Jacksonville. I'm still on Houston because of the defense. I think the defense is obviously still top notch, probably the best defense in the league, if not top 3. So, yeah, interesting, this division.
It is interesting because look at these prices on the board here, Art. So it looks like the market is saying, all right, Jacksonville, 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 Jacksonville. And then they do the same with Houston. So they're really just alternating. Jacksonville with Indy, Jacksonville, Houston. That seems to be the other group that is going on there. And I think, is there another Jacksonville? There is a couple of Indies. So, yeah, they're really just mix and matching with whatever team is up on top. And then what do you got? The Houston market, I think, is also interesting here. What's that last one there at 16? Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Indy. So my big question is, do we see Indy pulling an upset here and end up maybe, I don't know, Art, could they? That's the way I tend to look here. I know Indy has not won it since Andrew Luck might be the last time that they actually won the division, which is probably why you're seeing them at the prices you're seeing here. So, yeah, I worry about Houston, Art. I don't know that Houston has got enough. Okay. I don't like Stroud. The defense is okay, but that's another team that got away with a whole lot last year, especially down the stretch. At some point, Stroud's got to grow up, and I just don't know that they got enough around him in order to make that happen.
I would think you would get a lovely price on the Colts winning the division.
That's what I'm thinking. Look at it right now. I mean, yeah, the Colts winning the division to me is where the money is. And why not? I mean, you can see them up at the top here. The only ones that Indy at the top, Indy, Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee, or Indy, Houston, Jacksonville. They're both the same market here, are they not? Or what am I missing? Indy wins, Jacksonville. Oh, no, it's Indy, Houston. So Houston and Jacksonville, who finishes second and who finishes third here. But listen, I like Tennessee and I like Salah. I doubt very much they're taking this division. But we
Probably
did see
not.
Indy start, 7-1, 8-1 last year?
They had an incredible start last year. Obviously, they made the crazy trade for Sauce Gardner. He gets hurt. They had a ton of injuries. Obviously, Jones goes out. But I mean, even if you just look at the win totals, it's pretty close from the top of the heap, which is Houston, to the bottom, which is Tennessee. I mean, what are we talking about? 6.5 juice to the over to 9.5 juice to the under. I mean, pretty tight division.
Yep. I don't mind Jacksonville. Listen, Goldilocks, can he actually punch through here? I think they got the right coach. I think they've got players on both sides of the ball, but they find ways to shit the bed at some point, Art. They always tend to do that. So your number one team, it's either what, Houston or Jacksonville for you?
Yeah, and don't forget, Jacksonville made the playoffs last year and got nothing out of Travis Hunter. They got nothing out of him. I mean, they traded up to draft him, and he was
correct.
I mean, he was nothing. He got hurt. He missed half the year. I mean, if he comes back and he's productive on either side or both sides of the ball, listen, he's got to pick a side. But man, Jacksonville, it's like having another top 5 pick. It's just okay. Let's throw this guy in there.
Jacksonville, Indy, Houston, Tennessee. Look at that one at 14 cents. That's interesting too there. Yeah, I'm kind of with you here, Art. I just don't. Tennessee finishing third would blow a lot of tickets up. But again, we are looking for any combination to get. We're betting the repricing here, right? So the idea that Jacksonville early on in the season can rattle off some wins. I think Houston's schedule is brutal to start with here, Art, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's not like they've got some sort of cakewalk happening here. So whoever has the easier schedule, the easier start to the season, let's say, 4 winnable games right off the top, Tennessee's going to have a much more favorable schedule, right? So, yeah, maybe anything with Tennessee finishing second, any combination there is going to give you a pretty good return on the money by the time you get to October. And I think that's how you have to look at some of these markets.
And great call, Joe. I mean, obviously there's 17 games now, but you got to look at it in quadrants, right?
Yes.
You got to look at it like, hey, these 4 games and these 4 games, and then you go to in any of these exact markets, and then you can really piece the schedule together. Hey, do they play each other in these spots? Which, I'm sure a lot of divisions have those inter-division games, and then you can kind of piece it out like that, quadrant by quadrant. But we always say this, and we're going to continue to say this about these predictive markets. It's not about carrying this to January.
Right.
You could be cashing out by October. So that's the main thing here.
So you've got first 4 games for Houston. You ready? Buffalo, Cincinnati, at Indy versus Dallas. 3 of their first 4 games are home for them. Jacksonville, on the other side, is going to be very, very interesting because they are going to start versus Cleveland, at Denver, at home against New England, on the road at Cincinnati. So outside of Cleveland, that's not an easy. You're flying to Denver in week 2. You got New England at home in week 3. You got to go back out to Cincinnati, then Philly and Houston. That before you hit your bye in week 7.
That's a tough first 6.
Interesting first six games there. And I'll tell you real quick on Indy. Indy is going to start at home versus Baltimore. Then they got to go to Kansas City. They're back home to Houston and back on the road to Washington. I mean, does Houston have the inside track after the first 4 weeks? Wow.
I'll say this, and I know the Titans start with the Jets. That makes me think in that first, if I'm just looking at can I cash out by October, I'm not putting the Titans last.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, the Jets, this is interesting. Jets home, Philly home, at Giants, at Baltimore, and then Houston and Indy. So
and listen, I'm a Giant fan, but they could beat the
they
Giants.
can win that. I agree. And both games are at home. So their first two games against the Jets and Philly are at home.
The Jets and yep. They could beat both. They could beat both New York teams.
I agree. And listen, why not? They finished 2-2 in the first 4 games.
Yep.
There's a repricing happening somewhere a little, but Houston might just go 4-0, at which point anything with Houston on top is going to be through to the order. That Indy and Jacksonville schedule is brutal to start the season. So that is
you got to kind of pick maybe who do you like, least, pair it with the schedule and put one of those teams last.
Correct. Yes, I agree. Yep. And that's where you can get the repricing and check right out of it. And then reinvest it based upon the next quadrant. Not a bad way to go there. All right, guys, don't forget, hit the like, hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family. Art and I are going to talk about some of these preseason games coming up here tonight. We'll throw out a college football future play for you. We'll run down Major League Baseball. And don't forget, I got a 4% top play over at WagerTalk.com on one of the late games here tonight. You can get that, plus the free plays, all written up and for you at WT.buzz/JR. All right, Art, we've got some preseason games coming up here tonight in the NFL. 3 to be in fact, and of course, it's one of those going to involve my Jets, but Miami, Washington, Tampa at the Jets, Denver at Atlanta. Big line movement. What have you seen so far here?
Well, the Jets have been a big move. They were basically a slight dog. Bucks maybe won, pick 'em in that game. Bucks have a lot of quarterback issues. Jets are going to have some quarterbacks people know who are going to play. Jets now 6.5. Totals obviously come down now as well from 36.5 to 34.5. When you look at that Dolphin game, they were a minus 1, -1.5. They're now up to 3.5 in that game. Total stayed pretty steady, pretty much 36.5, 37. Kind of been floating in between that, point and a half kind of move. And then Denver, the total's really gone up in that game. That's gone from 37.5 to 41. Denver's pretty much been a 3.5 point favorite here the last couple of days.
Well, I'll tell you, the game that's fascinating to me is going to be this Atlanta-Denver game, given the fact that Stefanski has played coy with who the quarterback is going to be for week 1. We know Penix Jr. is not going to be available. Tua is playing tonight, right? But so he refuses to name Tua the starter. He keeps playing like there's going to be some sort of, if it ain't Tua, who's it going to? Cooper Rush, which it may be. I think he's going to get likely a lot of the snaps here tonight. I think after Tua, and then I kind of like that spot for him because Cooper Rush to me is not a guy that is going that I would stick a fork in and be like, oh God, you're not going to get it. No, he's going to go out there, and you got a Denver team that has not. They got injuries up the wazoo. Have you seen how many? I mean, everybody is hurt with Denver. So what are we going to get from Sean Payton? We're not getting, is it Stidham? Like, who's taking the snaps to the Ellinger? I tend to lean towards Atlanta, although, I mean, Ulbrich is still the DC in Atlanta, so there's going to be some familiarity there. A lot of the same guys are on the defensive side of the ball. I don't call me crazy. Home team here, getting what now? 3.5 we're getting?
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Cooper Rush is a real quarterback. He's played real snaps in this league.
Yep.
When you're a team like Denver, I always feel like when you're a team like that who, was minutes away from going to the Super Bowl, you get your quarterback hurt late in the season, like you're trying to get to week 1.
Yeah.
Like what's the evaluation process? Sean Payton's been around the block. It's all, and honestly, even if you're worried a little bit about Bo Nix and his foot, like why would you have Stidham out there that long?
Yes.
You might need him at some point this year. So I can't hate taking over a field goal with a home team who probably is going to have a lot more to prove here than Denver.
Yeah, and listen, Denver, both have said starters are going to play. Tua, Drake London, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, about 10 plays, Stefanski said. Then Cooper Rush is basically coming in here. The Broncos said 10 to 15 plays. somewhere in that ballpark for their starters, minus, Bo Nix. So Jared Stidham and Sam Ellinger are going to be your two quarterbacks against Tua, who, mind you, is on a one-year deal here, and Cooper Rush. Now, I will say this. Stidham has had some time to get comfortable with, Sean Payton's offense. So, Tua and Rush are learning a whole new scheme under Stefanski. So I get why Denver is the road favorite here, but call me crazy. I think Atlanta might be able to surprise them a little bit here. Everyone's betting the Jets, and I cannot figure out why. I get Tampa's all over, but you do realize it's the Jets, right? Are we all on the same page with that, Art?
Yeah, I mean, now laid 6.5 with the Jets. You can count me out of that. Once again, I know the Bucks, obviously Baker not playing, but, they have a lot of issues with their quarterback room. Very low total, I think 34.5. Yeah, there's no way I could put any money on the Jets, even if it is a preseason game.
Tampa brought in, and I hated that, Zach Robinson, who used to be a quarterback at Oklahoma State. He was awful there. Then he was an awful coordinator with Atlanta, and then they canned him there. And yeah, this is a whole new. They got a lot of new coaching faces. Tampa does here, so but they did have a pretty good draft defensively, and I just feel like they're setting Todd Bowles up here in a big, big way. I mean, a big, big way. But Todd Bowles is a guy that defensively in this kind of he's not going to make it easy for no matter who the Jets put under center, which I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of Cade Klubnik. Are we not here?
A lot of Klubnik. It's going to look like a Clemson football game, no doubt about it. And listen, having, basically just shat all over the Jets, Aaron Glenn in his second year, he's got to get off to a good start here.
Yes.
I know it's a preseason game, but it was a disaster last year. And, the Jets have all this draft capital here in the next couple of years, but we talked about maybe Glenn being the first coach fired, and he's the odds-on favorite to be that. So feels very important for the Jets to get off to a good start here and get a W under their belt.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Ruben Bain tonight in Tampa to see exactly what we're going to get there. And what are we going to get with Washington and Miami here? This one is another fascinating game tonight. The Dolphins, everybody's gone, right? Whole new start over, push the reset button. In Miami, Jeff Haley getting his first reps as a, preseason reps as a new head coach here. He brought Malik Willis with him. Do we trust the Commanders? I don't know. But I do think Willis and the backup is going to be Quinn Ewers, right? And I think then Cam Miller is going to be the other quarterback combination there. They have some injuries on the offensive line, the Dolphins, already in camp. Is Jaden Daniels going to sniff the field, or is he still too pissed off that LSU dare give a jersey number 5 to a new player like 3 years after he graduated? Just saying.
That's a wacky story. Out of the 3 preseason games tonight, I think this is the one I have the least interest in.
I know.
I think just looking at it, I would take the under. This feels like a 14-10 game.
I agree.
That's what it looks like to me.
Both offensive lines are banged up. Tunsil's already done, right, for Washington, which is not good. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think this game's in Washington. 36 and a half feels like way too many points here tonight. But I am going to be interested to see what we get here from a couple of quarterbacks tonight. Some backup quarterback situations, I think, are going to make it very interesting in these games, especially with the Jets and Cade Klubnik and company, who's backing up Geno this year. I think there are some things to figure out here tonight in just a 3-game slate. Now, in the meantime, we do have some college football also on our mind here, Art, and we've done a pretty good job here over the last couple of weeks, rolling out some of our favorite future bets, win totals, who makes the postseason, who doesn't. What do you think? What team you circling here today for us?
I'm going to Conference USA. I'm going to go to Liberty. I think they're going to win Conference USA. I think it's a bounce back. I found as high as plus 280 at Bet365. Most places are about plus 250, plus 260. Listen, they're going to bounce back here. They were bad last year. They were 4-8, but they had 4 one-loss games by one score. So I think that will kind of change here. They had 21 turnovers, a lot of turnovers last year. Didn't like that. So I know they're basically the odds-on favorite here to win Conference USA, but I think they will get it done. So give me Liberty, half a unit play, but plus 280 to win Conference USA.
Oh, I like that. All right, one of the first plays that I gave folks here on the show for a future bet is I said, bet the Oklahoma State Cowboys win total over because good things are coming from Coach Morris and company there. The flip side of that, Art, we might as well talk as well, and that's, of course, the team that Coach Morris left, and that would have been North Texas, who was sitting around 5.5, I think, for a win total. And they won 12 games. And they were in that three-way tie, if you remember, in the American Conference. They lost to Tulane in that title game, and that was it. But the problem was Eric Morris not only left with the quarterback, he left with the coaches, he left with pretty much everybody in that program. So they are returning just 8% of their total snaps from last season. So I mean, Neil Brown, it'll be his first season there. He's always been a lot of fun, but they got games against Indiana, UNLV, Texas State. No, not going to happen here. This is going to be a transition year, I think, for North Texas. Under the 5.5 wins is likely good. The schedule's brutal. And yeah, that's a lot to lose in a season and expect that. You know, going from 12 wins, I counted 4 wins at most for North Texas this year. So under their win, makes sense. You go from one, you got to go to the other. Not all rebuilds are created the same, right, Art?
No doubt about it.
Awful. Absolutely awful. All right, so we give you Liberty and North Texas. You guys got to be excited about that. Let's talk some Major League Baseball, Art. We'll go around the horn here. You got St. Louis at the Cubs, a little afternoon action. Liberatore against Holmes. Which way you leaning towards in this one?
St. Louis has been bad, but I think I'll lean St. Louis.
Leaning St. Louis here.
I'll lean St. Louis. I'll take a chance.
All right, leaning St. Louis here. I've got Sandy Alcantara taking on Burns in Cincinnati. Miami got destroyed yesterday by Pittsburgh, but outside of that, they've been actually pretty darn good here down the stretch. And Burns is kind of regressing here, and that's a problem. They also got into a firefight, had to use the entire back end of that bullpen against the White Sox yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to take Miami at just about even money in this one there. Art, you got the Red Sox at the Pirates. Bennett taking on Bubba Chandler. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I told you the Sharps are back on the Red Sox here. The Pirates, they won a game yesterday, but they have been awful. You got to lean Boston here.
Leaning Boston there. All right, White Sox taking on the Tigers. Newcomb versus Job. Job actually pitched pretty well last time out for a guy that hadn't pitched in 2 years. Like the Tigers at home here at a fairly decent price. Chris Bassett is back. Art, did you know that? He's pitching for Baltimore. Taking on Steven Matz. The Rays are at home for this one.
The Rays are always good at home. I know it's a big price, but they beat up on bad pitching. Rays.
Padres and the Guardians. I already told you I like the Padres in that one for the parlay today. Nats and Mets. Alvarez against Stock here. What are you thinking, Art?
I'm taking over.
Yeah, it's the only way I can go at Citi Field, too. Brandon Pfaadt versus Chris Sale. Diamondbacks on the road taking on the Braves. I'm thinking about taking that 1.5 with the Diamondbacks here, Art, in that one. Yankees, Blue Jays, Bieber against Cole. What do you think?
I like the Yankees, and I like the under.
Under is sitting out. There's 8s available, Art, so that's not a bad way to go. Mariners at the Astros. Lambert versus Kirby. Mariners, I mean, 1 run. Team total under. That's the way I'm going there. Royals and the Angels. Lugo versus Grayson Rodriguez. Angels just beating up Texas all week.
Oh, That's a brutal series by Texas, by the way.
Mm.
I wouldn't touch this game at all, but yeah, Angels are kind of hot. I'll take the Angels.
All right, taking the Angels there. Rangers against the Athletics in Sacramento. Maybe the Rangers can score some runs. I doubt that, though. Kumar Rocker going for him. I'm going to take the under because even the Texas Rangers will figure out a way to score a few runs in that ballpark. Brewers Dodgers round 2. Art, what are you thinking? Gasser versus Yamamoto.
Well, yesterday I said take a shot with the Brewers because it's plus money. I'm going to continue to do that. If you're going to continue, I know Yamamoto's amazing, but I'll take the 1.5. I'll take plus money. I'll take shots with the Brewers.
They used all their arms last night too in that loss with Diaz and company. And finally, Rockies and the Giants. Freeland versus Roop. I still can't get to an over here, but I think the Giants. I trust them at Oracle more than I trust the Rockies, and that is your Major League Baseball rundown. So good stuff, Art. Got a little heading into a weekend with some UFC. We got baseball. We've got preseason football. College will be here before we know it. It's what they say. It's a beautiful time of year, and I am looking very, very forward to it. You are back on Monday. Unfortunately, the Prez will be back as well. Brian Power will be here. In the meantime, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family, and make sure you come back and join us for another edition of the best betting show ever on Monday. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll talk to you then.